most of the clinical death experiences that people talk about on YouTube, and it's over 20 million people in America, if you Google it, have had the near-death experience. But they don't know how to consciously get out of the body. They don't know if such a thing is possible. A few do. So when I had my experience, going back to 2019 in the spring, I've been married for about 40 years. My wife and I got into a big argument. She said, you need to go and get a colonoscopy. I said, I've been eating plant-based food for almost 50 years. My veins, my arteries, everything is as clean and as pure as the snow, because plants only eat water and sunlight. They don't have any negative aspects in them. They give us 95% of all of the vitamins, and as well as the proteins in the world. You can get protein from meat, but meat got cholesterol. It can clutter up your mind. It can restrict your ability to concentrate attention, especially if you're trying to get out of the body naturally. But let's go into the next argument. As she put me in a wheelchair, I was supposed to get a hip surgery, but I was in the hospital, Rush Hospital near downtown. As we get on the elevator and got upstairs, then we end up with another argument. I said I wanted to go to the bank. You knew that? She said, shut up. You don't need no bank. You're going to go through this. You know how wives can curse and act strange after you've been with them for a long time. So I put my head down, became quiet, and I didn't say anything else. As we go through the door to see the doctor who was supposed to do the colonoscopy on me, I had died at that time. And it was a painless death. They later on called it a heart attack. Because when you die, they don't know what to call it. You know what I mean? They know the heart stopped, everything stopped, cold blue. And so, strangely enough, the universe had arranged for for a medical doctor that dealt with the heart on that floor. He was not supposed to be on that floor. So my wife panicked. I wasn't talking to her anymore. So when she called out and screamed, so the nurses came, the doctor, who was a cardiologist, came on that floor. They gave me a defibrillator. They did CPR. And eventually, as I was watching this process, I was out of that body into the astral body. That body got more intelligence, more aware. I didn't feel any pain. They couldn't see me. It was like Patrick Swayze in the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore. My hands, I tried to grab my coat. It was an expensive coat. It went through the coat and went through their hands. And my teacher, who was with me at that time, he said, why are you doing this? Let's get out of this experience. You know you can't do anything. These people can't see you. You can't touch them. You're a ghost, as far as they're concerned. So he said, let's go. I said, wait, I want to see the sun. So as we got out of the body, he said, why do you want to see the sun? You see it every day in the morning time. He said, okay, I'll take you there. So he chaperoned me. In just a few seconds, I was in front of the sun. The sun, I discovered, is a huge, gigantic, gargantuan ball of fire and gas. Everything is exploding. Hydrogen energy, atomic energy exploding. And so he said, let's get away from this boring experience. He called that experience boring. So he said, let's go. So we go and we cross the entire physical galaxy as we know it. All of the stars, moons, suns, rapidly going through that space. As we get out of the physical universe, we enter a tunnel. And at the tunnel, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But as I moved toward the middle, I saw people coming out of the tunnel. Some of them I knew. They knew me from the 1600, 1500, and earlier. And they called me by that name. I recognized them because my knowledge and my awareness had expanded. So I didn't know everybody, but some of them said, are you in America? I said, yes. They said, we want to go there. So they said, what is your phone number? Where do you live? I gave them my address and my phone number, knowing that they will totally forget this. Because every human being on the earth, if you ask them, 98% have forgotten their experience of a previous life. They start recalling in a vague way what we call deja vu, what I call spiritual Alzheimer, okay? They can't recall. And there's a reason for this Alzheimer. But anyway, as we cross that level of the tunnel and I go into the astral plane, everything is full of sound. When I left the body, I started hearing strange music and sound. And anybody who goes into the astral world, they start hearing a strange sound. There's a book, which I'm going to put up on the screen now, by Betty Eadie, Embraced by the Light, if they want to read that. And also there's another book by Dr. Raymond Moody, Life After Life. He talks about this strange noise. I don't know if they know what it is because it is actually the Creator expressing himself in a vibratory way. It starts off with, like, if you're doing meditation, it can start off with like music or electricity going through a wire or static electricity, or like the TV being on a in-between channel. It starts off like that. Crickets sounding vibration. As you go up, it becomes more melodious, more symphonic in its beautiful expression. So as I get into that astral plane, I meet human beings who were there prior. And all of the human beings are extremely beautiful there. That world is extremely huge. To give you an idea in your audience of how huge it is, if you were to take a quarter, which represent the entirety of the physical universe, with its trillions of stars and planets and moons, the physical universe would be like the size of a quarter. And the astral universe would be the size of the Pacific Ocean. That's how big that world is. So as you enter that world, all of the people are more knowledgeable than people on Earth. They're more intelligent. They're more loving. They don't engage in violence. They don't have to go to school like we go here. But the process of knowledge works the same. They take their attention and they concentrate it. And everything there is creating its own light. The astral body is full of light. The trees that you see is full of light. The mountains, everything is full of light and also vibratory sound. In the holy book of the Bible, since a lot of the people are Christian in Europe and in different parts of the world, let me use it from that point of view. But even the Muslim have this in their literature. Like in the Bible, in John, 1st chapter, 1 to the 3rd verse. In the beginning, it says, was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. No word can create human beings and create stars and skies, but vibration can create it. I can go into detail on how we are doing it when we go to sleep at night. But let me go further into this experience. The people there, they communicate through telepathy. Telepathy is something that they say in their head through thinking, and the person who they're communicating with can hear what they're saying in their head. So they pick up without using words. You can use words if you wish, but that only adds to the beauty of the communication. In the physical world, people can play games of deception. They can say one thing and mean another. They can trick you. In that world, you cannot be deceived because it's a world of more truthfulness. But people live a long time in that world. In the physical world, the average lifespan for the male is about 76 or a little more, and the female 78, maybe 80. Some people live to be 100 and something. So let's say the average lifespan is in that range. When you go to sleep at night, you wake up, you don't have to open up your eyes, you don't have to pinch yourself. You know exactly how old you are. Your age gives you your identity in this world. If you don't have Alzheimer, it makes you feel, oh yes, I'm 30-something, I got some kids, I got to go to work, I got to go on my TV program, I got to do YouTube. But one thing about the Creator, he knew exactly that you would be drinking some water at this time, Sergey. He knew exactly that you would be wearing a certain type of outfit. He knew exactly I would have on a white jacket, a yellow shirt, a cap that says I Seek Institute. He knew all of this stuff millions of years ago. He set it up for a reason. This is his show. He gives us the illusion that we have free will. I can go into detail on how that illusion works, but let me go on with this experience of the astral world. The astral world is similar to this world. There are houses there, there are people there, there are animals there, They don't fight with each other. The animals don't fight with each other and try to kill the other animals. Everything is more peaceful and harmless. You don't experience any pain. You can control the age, what looks like the age of your body. The average lifespan there is 3,000, 4,000 years of age. So when you die from this world, let's call it waking up to the astral world, because it works like the same process when you wake up from a dream in this world. You immediately know that the dream world lasted maybe 8 hours or less, and you know you've been in this human body for 30, 40, 12, or 60 or 70 years. That is what gives you the reality of this world being more real than the dream world. So when you wake up or die and go into the astral world, your memories suddenly come back that you've been in that world for 3,000 or 4,000 or longer periods of time. You don't mind going to sleep there, which is the reincarnational process. People don't understand that in this human body, you have vague knowledge expressing itself in the form of deja vu, which is reincarnation. But in that world, it becomes real. Reincarnation is also expressed in this world when you go to sleep. You can have at least one dream a night. Most people have more than that. And in a year, if you have only one dream, that's over 365. You multiply that by 10 years, that's 3,600 some dreams. Multiply that by double that. That's over 7,000 dreams. Double that, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. You can have 30, 40,000 dreams in a lifetime, depending on how long you live. So when we go to sleep there, we don't mind going to sleep there and coming to the physical world to learn lessons. We are here to learn lessons. And one of the biggest lessons I learned, that I should not kill animals. I should be compassionate, because all species want to live. Even a bird or a roach or a fly will try to run away from you. They don't want to die. We are made the same way. Nobody really wants to die. They want to survive. It's built into the DNA. So it's built into the DNA so that we can live out our life and pay off our karma here. Every human being that takes birth is born with good and bad karma. You'll never find a human being that doesn't have good or bad karma. Okay, let me speak further about the astral plane before I go into the causal world. The astral plane are nothing but the 5 senses attached to the physical body. Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and feeling. Those senses are in the astral form, but they get enhanced when you get out of the physical body. You can see in a panoramic view. Right now, you have to turn your head to see what's in back of you. So you have panoramic vision if you high up in the astral plane. And you can do this with the shifting of attention. Attention is the thing which regulates your consciousness. So my teacher said, don't eat any animals. If you want to go higher up, you got to obey your DNA. And I said, what do you mean? I love meat. I said, can I eat fish? He said, don't eat anything that runs away from you. You made like the horses and cows and the sheep. They eat nothing but things that grow out of the ground. So you can eat anything that grows out of the ground as long as it's not poisonous. Watermelons, apples, oranges, legumes, peas, corn, anything. Don't make that into a religion like a lot of the vegans do. Don't get into that, because you're not just going to live in this world forever. You're trying to go to a higher level of consciousness. And that's one of the things that can bring you back. Other things that can bring you back, the way you treat people, the way you mistreat individuals. And you got to be more loving. So let your compassion grow, which is a cousin of love. Compassion is a cousin of love. And the more love you have, the more compassion you receive from the Creator. The Creator has placed his consciousness in everything. He has nothing else to create with except for his consciousness. He places consciousness in birds, animals, everything that has life. So if you wish to become like him, you are him in a sense that you're a miniaturized version of him. If he's put his consciousness in you, you are a seed form of the Creator. You just need to be fertilized by another human being who has made greater progress than yourself, and he becomes like a teacher. In India, they call them gurus. In America, they call them preachers, but preachers don't know how to get out of the body, nor do rabbis. So they can misinterpret the teaching. A person who can get out of the body gets direct knowledge because all of the knowledge are there. So you can think when you're in the astral plane and control how your body looks. Everybody's beautiful. It's strange when you go there. There are no ugly people there. Everybody in this world who ugly, they can go get a plastic surgeon to improve their looks. They can put cream, makeup, eyelashes. Men can cut their hair. So there are ugly people in this world, but they can make themselves look beautiful. In that world, you just think. But you have to think in this world to create beauty. Let me go to the drugstore and get me some cream. Let me go see a plastic surgeon. Thinking controls how your body looks there, okay? So another thing, thinking also controls how you build houses. In this world, you think, or you go to an architect, he draws up something with his thinking and said, do you want this mansion? Depending on how much money you got. You can build a beautiful house in this world. But in that world, you can just think. You don't need, in your concentration and your imagination, it can create houses. Because there's no gravity, you'll see houses in the air. They can be on the ground too. You can control things to some extent by your thinking. And your thinking also not only communicates, but it also is a vehicle for traveling. You think and you can travel. Now, how do you control thinking? In this world, people who meditate, they meditate and develop the ability to concentrate attention. So as I crossed that level of consciousness and went into the causal plane is a more perfect expression of the astral world. Like the astral world is a more perfect expression of the physical world. They didn't have airplanes in the physical world in the 1700s or the 1500s. There were human beings who concentrated their attention, and they were in that higher world, and they saw these different gadgets, and they brought their attention down, and it inspired them to come up with these gadgets in this world. Telephones, computers, airplanes, beautiful structures. Everything in this world is evolving and becoming like that world. Okay? So that world is a more perfect expression, a more perfect holographic expression of the physical world. One other thing, when you get in the causal world, you experience oneness. Your experience of oneness increases enormously. You don't need telepathy to communicate. You can just transfer knowledge directly to a human being without using words. It's a strange process. Words starts breaking down. I'm having a hard time trying to communicate this because you're in the astral plane. That's where all of the Akashic records are. The Akashic records are also in the astral world, but they're not totally there. And the Akashic records are in this world, but they're not totally here. The Akashic records work in the form of DNA in this world. DNA determines how long you're going to live, how much money you're going to make. If you understand that, it also determines what race you'll be born in, whether you'll be born with cancer from a previous karma. It's got so much aspect. So all these words have reflection of the destiny or of the karma, which controls the destiny as you go up. So the causal world, you can experience oneness with everything. In this world, your experience with oneness is separate. Like if you're on a basketball team, you feel oneness with that team. You're rooting against the other team. We want to win. If you're in politics, I'm on the Republican side. I'm not on the Democrats. I want the Republican to become president. If you are in some other club, you feel oneness with that club. That's how oneness works in this world. But as you go up, it becomes oneness with everything. But you haven't gone back to the Lord. That causal world looks exactly like this world. But if you go higher up, the more oneness you experience. And there are beings at each stage in those worlds, which are like spiritual administrators. They control the destiny or administer the destiny of all beings in the causal plane. In the astral world, you found a being that also administer what family we'll be born in, how many children we'll have, whether we'll go to jail or whether we'll die early. We can meet that being. Just like in this world, you can go meet the president. But you can't really meet him unless you know somebody who can take you there, who's close to the president. That's how that world operates too. I'm just giving you the mechanics of how that world operates. So the causal world is much larger than the astral world. It would be just as the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean combined would be the representation of the causal world, and the astral world would be the Pacific Ocean only. But the Pacific Ocean would be much smaller if you look at it from the causal plane. It would be like the size of a half a dollar rather than a quarter. But everything is full of sound and knowledge and beauty and love. Most people don't understand that when we're in the physical body, this physical body is a covering that we're wearing. It's like a suit that we wear. We don't know how to get out of it. We tend to think the suit is us. It creates so many problems. I'm black, or you white, you Asian. You know, we get caught up. You male, female. The soul is neither male nor female. It can change different genders. But what happens when you're in the higher world, you get this knowledge. So we understand justice, because justice can be seen. In this world, you can't see justice. That's what was my problem. And so my teacher explained it. When I got there, I understood that the Creator makes no mistake. Even when a baby gets shot by a drive-by bullet accidentally, there's a reason for it. So consciousness is what we have. Consciousness can never be extinguished. It is immortal, eternal. People who are listening to this and thinking that they can commit suicide, they cannot. All they can do is change bodies. And they may go into a lower region, which is a reformatory school. I went beyond the causal plane with the help of my teacher. That is the level where you think it's the highest. Each level of consciousness will convince you that it's the highest. That's why you need a person who's more spiritually advanced than yourself that you can meet and guide you, because you tend to think it's the highest. Because those bodies are set up in such a way that your memory comes back and you feel nothing is higher than that. Just like in this world, we only can think something is higher, but nobody really wants to die if they really be real with themselves, unless they can consciously die like I'm talking about, without pain, and come back. So as I crossed the causal plane with his help, that music changed. Let me give you an idea of how the music sounds. In the physical world, you hear these different static sounds, birds chirping at night, crickets at night. Those are the lower aspects of meditation. As you get out of the body, you start hearing a strange bell sound, like Betty Eadie heard in this book here. She's still living. You can Google her. She was on Oprah Winfrey, and I know her very well. And one day I may have her come to a live event, and maybe the people in your audience may want to participate, and ask several people who've had these experiences and ask them questions about the astral world. I also have a man who went to hell. He can tell you about what goes on in hell. Hell is temporary. Heaven is temporary. All these are temporary experiences unless you cross the causal plane. They're meant to learn lesson. So as you cross the causal world, you go into the world of salvation. Time and space doesn't exist as we know it beyond the causal plane. You're in a timeless area, a spaceless area. And you are full of love. I was so full of love and happiness and joy that I said to my teacher, look, I want to go back to my original home where where my Creator exists. He said, don't worry, you can't go back now. You have work to do. You're going to be speaking to hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people. And I said, what are you talking about? And as I came back, he said, you got to go back. So in a sense, Sergey, you and your people have brought me back without knowing it, okay? Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So as I came back, I met him at the office before he passed on. And I wanted him to speak on so many subjects. He said, you already know all these things. You just have to recall them. And time will automatically, if you talk without thinking, it'll come back to you. Because that's how all knowledge comes, through intuition. Filtered through intuition at this level. But anyway, so as I came back, I want people to know that they are a compassionate being. They are the most intelligent species on the earth. The Lord can put them in any body because the consciousness It's them. It's not the body that they're wearing. Some of them have gone to Halloween parties and they put on costume. I'm a witch. I'm a devil. I'm an angel. Or I'm a dog. They got all kind of masks and people can put on, but they know they're not that mask. Or if you go into the ocean and put on a diver suit while you're in the ocean, you know you are in a human body, but you don't tend to think that body is a suit. This is a suit which restrict our awareness. It's a prison, actually. And there are different levels of prisons. You got what you call maximum. Then you have, halfway houses where you have more freedom. So as you travel up, you get more freedom, more love, more joy, more happiness. So you may begin. Thank you.
So you said you compared this planet as the maximum security prison, if I understand it right.
No, you got hells too, because your senses in this world are not as intense as you go up. So if you go to prison, they have solitary confinement where you by yourself. That's the worst prison you can be in because you want to kill yourself when you're by yourself. Your mind will attack you. I want to see some people. I'm tired. That's how people get on board. They want to die. These bodies are nothing but prison houses. They suits that we wear. So they're minimum security and maximum. And in this world, in the hells, it's worse because your senses can experience more intensified pain to help you reform yourself.
Okay, so how about the people who are meditating in a cave? They go voluntarily into the cave and they sit over there for years and, for a long, long time voluntarily. I would compare that to a solitary prison.
Okay, very good question, sir.
Okay.
Einstein loved solitary. So you can love solitary if you're making discoveries and enjoying it, but very few people know how to enjoy it because if they're in solitary, they're bored. The mind attacks them and say, hey, the mind wants to get some pleasure itself. You got to feed the mind. The body needs to be, all these bodies got to be fed. The physical body needs good nutrition. The astral body needs light, joy, happiness. The causal body needs knowledge, awareness. So if you're in a cave, normally those people in the Himalaya mountains, they have learned from a teacher how to concentrate attention. And they want to get out of this world and enjoy the other parts of the world. So they enjoy meditation. Most people who meditate in this world, they meditate for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. They're tired. They get bored. Let me go out of it. Let me go do something else. They can't meditate that long. Boredom will attack them. Boredom is the thing which runs them out of meditation. Joy and pleasure will make them stay in meditation and go higher up. Any other questions?
When you were on the other side, you mentioned that there were souls that you knew and they were coming to you and they say, hey, we want to go where you came from. So my question is this, even the ghosts, even the souls on the other side wanted to come to America, right?
Yes, but let me correct your not
okay, I'm making a little bit of
understanding.
joke here, but you understand what I'm saying, right?
The souls who met me, they were happy to come back because you can be bribed there to leave those heavens if they were in the heavens. Or if you're in hell, your karma will make you come back. But anyway, the ones who left heaven, you can be bribed in this world. Like say if somebody came to you and said, look, I got a suitcase full of at least $5 million and it'll be yours. But you got the choice to make. You can take a red pill, which will give you a horrific nightmare for 8 hours. The most horrific and painful nightmare you can ever experience. Or you can take the blue pill, which will give you a heavenly experience, an enjoyable pleasure experience. Most people will choose the red pill knowing that they're going to wake up because that money will be there. They can use that money. Very few people will choose some people will choose the blue pill because they're scared of nightmare, but they can have it anyway, whether they choose either pill. Nightmares can beseech you and come upon you. So you can be bribed to leave the heaven by saying, if you want to make greater spiritual progress and have a wonderful experience, go to earth, but you're going to be blind, you're going to be mentally retarded, or you're going to get married and get 2 or 3 divorces. Your children may end up shooting you or killing you, because children do kill their parents. You may end up arguing with your wife. You may end up going to jail for something that you think you didn't do because you don't know what you've done in the previous life. But it's only going to be for a short period of time. It's like a dream in this world. Time is short. You in this body for 70, 80 hours. The astral world, 4,000 years. So it looks short when you're there. So you say, okay, I'll go. And that's why babies take birth here, knowing that they're only going to be here for a little while or live to be so long.
Okay, about the astral world. You said that the astral world is about 3,000 or 4,000 years. How about
No, the life,
the life is 3,000 to 4,000 years
yes,
lifespan of a soul,
right,
an astral.
yes.
What is after that?
Then,
Is there
okay,
life after
these
this?
bodies, you have to remember, the soul can never die. It's trapped, and it doesn't know it's trapped in these bodies. The body was what dies, not the soul. So the astral body may live to be 3,000 or 4,000 years. Then it has to go down or go up. It's very hard to go up because you have to meet somebody who can take you up or do a lot of meditation, which you have the fluidity to go up on your own, which is very difficult. So people normally go to sleep there, which is coming back here. There is no such thing as a astral soul. It's the soul is in the astral body. There's no such thing as a physical soul. The soul is inside the physical body, trapped. The soul is inside the causal body, trapped. Can't get out. But these bodies are more perfect. The experience is a better experience as you go up higher.
Yeah. So you say that you need somebody to take you there. You cannot do it by yourself. You mean you need a guru?
You can go on your own so far. It's hard. It's like how many people can get 200 PhDs in different subjects in this world? Very hard. And then you got good karma and bad karma. If what I'm saying is true, there are books you can read like Brian Weiss. He wrote a book, Many Lives, Many Master. Tom Schroeder, Schroder, Schroeder. He wrote a book where children have memory of who they were from a previous life that was verified by Dr. Ian Stevenson in this world. Dr. Stevenson did over 4,000 case studies. So these children are rare compared with the 8 billion or 7 billion people that live on Earth. Most people are born with deja vu or Alzheimer, in their memory at the time of birth. So there's proof if you want to go deep. So you have to remember that these bodies are nothing but houses, suits that we wear. And that's one of the biggest problems we have in this world. It's hard to overcome the feeling that this body is not you. You slap yourself, you pinch yourself, you feel it's you. You don't feel your soul. Your soul can feel. The soul is what is trapped. And the soul power is taken away by the mind. And the soul is enslaved by the mind. The soul give all of its power to the mind. It's trapped. And the mind take the power of the soul and create all of these experiences of the senses and the physical body and everything. So we have to reverse this process. If you don't know how to reverse it, how are you going to learn on your own? It's going to take thousands of years. You've been here already for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years, and you don't recall. Most human beings have that kind of memory.
Now, you mentioned karma several times. What's your definition of karma?
Karma is a law that operates in physics. It's the law of compensation. It's the law of balance. Newton talks about this. Most physicists talk about it. In the area of spirituality, it's the law in all of the major holy books. Reap what you sow. If you sow apples, don't expect oranges. If you sow bananas, don't expect watermelons. It's the exact action coming back to you that you created. So if you create bad action, you will get that bad action. Okay? We call karma is broken into 3 categories. Karma of destiny. That's the destiny you have. That comes out of a bank because you have a lot of storage in a bank account. We call that bank sentient. That's an Indian word. SCIHIT, sentient karma. Then you got kriyaman. That's the karma that you create by using your free will. So free will karma is based on you making decisions. When you make a decision, it can have a ripple effect, not only on yourself and on one person, but on the family and everybody else. So when politicians get in positions, if they want to create good karma, then they should make decisions that affect people in a good way. But it's hard to just make good decisions. Like Hitler, he decided to kill over 6 million Jews. 6 human beings he burned up, babies, women, children, in an oven. Now, he cannot come back in one lifetime and pay for that. He cannot even go to hell. He would go to hell for maybe thousands of years, but he has to keep coming back. He may go through animal life, bird life, and every life he'll experience some pain, because in all life form experience pain, because the human being is the only species that can create karma. All the other species just go through their karma because they don't have any willpower. They don't reason. They just operate out of instinct. We think, and we say, I'm going to divorce this lady. I fell in love with somebody else. Or if you get married to one person, you're in a state of happiness. You're experiencing great happiness. You don't know you're going to get divorced in the next 5 or 6 years. You don't know that happiness is going to turn into boredom and pain. You don't know you're going to meet somebody else that can give you greater happiness. So you divorce one person, marry another. You don't know. Karma operates in a strange way. So karma is in a bank account. Think of it as a huge bank account, and you don't know how much good and bad is in that account.
Karma. Is cancer caused by lifestyle or by karma?
That is one of the most difficult questions to answer. It's almost like trying to answer is if a glass is half full or if it's half empty. So let me try to give you a clear answer. You can say both conspire with each other. Like you can eat certain kind of food, or you can see a doctor and can get rid of what looks like karma. A person can be suffering from cancer and can go get some treatment and it goes into remission, right? But if you don't get treatment, and even if you get treatment, you can still die, right? But most people will go see a doctor. Or if you've been vaccinated, you get vaccinated to improve your immune system so you don't get this virus. But people have been around and have not been vaccinated and they don't get it. But they would be foolish not to take the vaccination. But some people take the vaccination and they get sick. But the majority of the people that take the vaccination, they don't die. So they have to use their common sense. And common sense, most people don't have. Okay.
You said that you, on the other side, you telepathically saw the thoughts of other souls.
Oh, yes.
So you saw that what they were thinking telepathically.
Yes, you can actually see thoughts. They are as clear as the sun, as a movie. You can also hear them.
Okay. When you came back on Earth, are you able to ever see thoughts of people here on this side? Or
This
no?
is how we see thoughts on this
Okay.
side.
Go
And
ahead.
women can vouch for this.
Okay.
If you have any women, men can do it too. If you have any children,
Yeah.
okay, children can come to you and this teacher mistreated me. You looking at them, you reading their thoughts. You know they BSing you, right? Now you can go verify by talking to the principal and the teacher, but you're reading thoughts in a vague way. In the astral plane, it's not vague, it's clear. Women can read thoughts too. A man come, oh, I love you, let's go to the movies, and then they get them pregnant, they leave them. They know that it was happening, but after the effect. They say, oh, I knew that, but the man words, I love you, here's a Valentine gifts. He persuaded them to do things that they knew they shouldn't do. So this is how the reading of thoughts takes place here. But in the astral world, it's very clear. Any other questions?
2 more questions, that's it. When you were on the other side, you say that you heard this music some kind of noise or music. What was that music like, or the noise? Was it
Okay.
like the sound of Om? That's what you mean, like Om, vibration of Om?
Okay. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. The sound, as you get in touch with leaving the body and going to the astral plane, it's a bell sound. Thong chimes. That's why I said read Betty Eadie's book. She heard that sound, turn into bells. All of the churches, including some of these Orthodox Jewish churches, or synagogues, or in India, the temples, the American churches, they have bells. They are symbolic of what these spiritual beings have talked about that they hear inside. So they create these sounds outside. The next sound that takes you above the astral plane is like a om or trumpet sound or a train going on a bridge, brum, a loud sound like that. They say om to get you in the habit of hearing that strange sound. That takes you to the causal plane. Then the sound above that is like that of a guitar, sweet sound. Above that is like a violin. At the highest level is like that of bagpipes, sweet bagpipes that people imitate here. Normally, when soldiers are dying or firemen, they play the bagpipes. But these sounds that I'm mentioning are crude, embryonic sounds of the beautiful sound. These sounds become more beautiful and more attractive and more addictive than the sounds I'm mentioning from drums and things like that. It's like the sound is really one. Like if you take water and you flow it over a Niagara Falls and it hit the ground, it's a different sound, right? But if that water flows over grass, it takes on a different sound. If it flows over cement, it takes on a different sound. If it flows over sand. So the sound is really one. It takes on different sounds of the region that it's flowing through. Does that make sense?
Yes. I know that you mentioned that in different religions and Christianity and so on, they ring the bell, and that sound of the bell is the vibration that reminds people of the sound of heaven or the other side.
No, it actually snatches them out of the body when they hear it. They
Yeah.
leave.
Hmm.
It's a transportational device.
Also, I notice in the Buddhist temple, they use a bell a lot, the sound.
Yes,
They use it very
yes,
often. It's a beautiful sound. All right,
yes.
now, Professor Brinson, are you afraid of death?
No. I look forward to it because I didn't want to come back. Don't you remember what I said? I was forced to come back because of you and your audience. If it was up to me, I would have said, I asked my teacher, can I stay? He said, no, you got to go back and share some of this knowledge with people on earth. And when you leave, you will go all the way back to the highest level of consciousness where you originally came from.
Okay, so you came back to share your knowledge with us, with the viewers and with listeners and
I was
people.
forced to come back to share it.
Okay, so now speaking about that, if people want to find more about you, about your work, about what you do, or some contact information, would you like to share that?
Yes, they can push the like button or they can go to my channel, I-SEEK.org. I-seek.org. They can email me. They can even email Professor, PROFBRINSON @gmail.com.
Thank you for watching About Freedom Show. I really appreciate you. Click on one of the videos below and don't forget to subscribe.